Hi, my name is Liza Simon. I'm your instructor for Media and Society. You're looking at the overview page right now on the Lolima course site for Media and Society. And what you see is a photograph of the rally that took place at the state capitol about a week after the death of George Floyd. It was pretty amazing. Hope you were there. About 10,000 people turned out to say, we got to break the silence that has prevailed over racial injustice and over so much wrongdoing. We live in a democracy, for heaven's sakes. Our leaders shouldn't betray us. Our elected officials should do the right thing. We got to do the right thing too. We got to search our own consciousness and come to the realization that, for better or worse, we are all connected. Certainly, being in a pandemic where there is a pathogen afoot against which we have no natural immunity speaks volumes about the fact that, yeah, for better or worse, we all get over together or we don't get over at all. In the midst of all this tumult, I'd like to point out that, of course, we are also in the middle of an information revolution. Uh, Fueled by digital media. We'll call it the information revolution, right? And that has both good sides and bad sides. We're going to look at a lot of that in the course too. But it all begins with the questioning of what is real in the news that we have to depend on right now, more so than ever before in my lifetime, I know, because there's news coming out that we need to use to protect ourselves, to detect danger, and to connect with each other as well. So the question of is it true is really weighing heavily on our minds. Like I say, this is not the first pandemic, but we know for a fact that information is important in past pandemics because it's passed down over the years. I'll talk about that in a moment. You want to leave a legacy of information about what you did, who you were in the pandemic for your descendants to depend on to prepare for a crisis that they might face in their lifetimes. But we can't do that unless we make sense of the news as it's unfolding right now, and we're in the midst of it. The information revolution has both good sides and bad sides. Um, First of all, uh, I wouldn't say it's a good thing, but the fact of the matter is that when all this stuff is happening and there's discrimination afoot, cell phone, little device no bigger than the palm of the hand, has been the spark that has lit the fire of outrage and demand for lifting the veil of silence all over the world. It's amazing, isn't it? 8-second video of an officer kneeling on the neck of George Floyd lit the spark of the outrage that went around the world and the demand to break the silence. Protests all over the globe as a result of an 8-second tiny device in somebody's hand. That's the information revolution for you. It also has another side. In addition to breaking through the silence, letting us speak out, giving a platform to people who normally don't have such a platform, the information revolution has also been instrumental, I'm sorry to say, and you know what I'm going to say, it's also been instrumental in making information go viral that's almost as harmful as the virus itself. I'm talking about hoaxes, I'm talking about trolls, I'm talking about misinformation and disinformation that can mislead people into making bad decisions and taking actions that aren't in their own interest or in the interests of other people. And worse yet, misinformation and disinformation that is calculated to spread divisiveness and hate in our nation, which depends on unity in order to carry out the vision of democracy, right? So misinformation, disinformation, hoaxes, and all that silly stuff has been a real pain ever since social media came into being. We're going to look at why it is that people dig their heels in. The more they're confronted with information that says, no, you're wrong, the more they'll say, but I saw it on social media. That's the phenomenon of the filter bubble that we'll be looking at. Many, many challenges, in fact, that we'll look at in order to go to the next step, which is not to say, you know, doomsday is upon us, but to look at ways to make things better. And that begins with being a smarter news consumer and news creator. I want to point out that part of the information revolution that's so important to understand is that nobody is just a creator or just a consumer. We do both. Every time you push a button that says share, you are creating information, not just consuming it. So that gives us power. And the guy said in what, Batman, is it? the With power comes great responsibility. It's a double-edged sword. So we're going to learn to practice good information hygiene. We're going to learn to be in charge. This is actually 2 courses in one, I'm happy to say, because after we analyze and evaluate news and learn to look for the signs of information that we shouldn't share or like or comment on, we're going to switch hats and become creators of content. And whether it's gaming or infographics, videos, documentaries, promotional material, you're going to have the tools of the information revolution in your hands, and you're going to have an opportunity to tell stories that are important to you. So start thinking about that right now, really. What stories are about you? We are in charge. We have the tools of the information revolution in our hands, and we can use them to make a revolution and bring about a better day as we see fit. Hey, I'll see you in Media and Society, okay? And it's going to be a pleasure to hold our discussions together, create community, and construct a better future with information and society. Aloha. Again, my name is Liza Simon, and one last point I want to make is that even though this is an online class, I'm available outside of class for online Zoom meetings, and don't be shy. Aloha.